All right, last page you guys have to do on your own. We are given 4 vertices, and we have to determine what kind of quadrilateral it is, period. Okay, so let's start. We're going to find the distance of all 4 sides. Use the distance formula to find the length of all 4 sides. Okay. And actually, all 4 sides are the square root of 8 units long. Okay. That tells us a little something about the quadrilateral. Okay. First of all, since the opposite sides are congruent, we definitely have a parallelogram of some kind. And we can verify that when we find the slope of all 4 sides. We get a positive 1 for one pair of opposite sides, and a negative 1 for the other pair of opposite sides. So we definitely have a parallelogram of some kind, because our opposite sides are congruent and parallel. Okay? Now, if all of these sides are congruent, that means we have either a rhombus or a square. Okay, a rhombus and a square, those are both parallelograms that have all 4 congruent sides. Okay, so since we have a parallelogram, okay, and our consecutive sides here, sides that are right next to each other, are actually perpendicular. Okay, if you think about a positive 1, we can say that's a positive 1 over 1, and a negative 1 is a negative 1 over 1. Those are technically opposite reciprocal slopes. Okay, so our consecutive sides are perpendicular, which means that all 4 angles are right angles. And what kind of parallelograms have all 4 angles that are right angles? Well, shoot. That's either a rectangle or a square. Okay, so right now I'm leaning towards the square. Okay, but just to be sure, let's go ahead and we'll find the length of our diagonals and the slope of our diagonals. If this is a square, the length of our diagonals, the distance has to be the same. Okay, and the slopes need to be opposite reciprocals because the diagonals will also be perpendicular. Okay, so the length of AC ends up being 4 units long, and the length of BD is also 4 units long. So we're looking good. Since these are equal, our diagonals are congruent. Okay, and remember, only a rectangle and in turn a square have congruent diagonals. Okay, the slope of AC is 0, and the slope of BD is undefined. If you remember, slope of 0 is a horizontal, undefined slope is vertical, so those are opposite reciprocals, which means our diagonals are perpendicular. And if our diagonals are perpendicular, we know it's a rhombus or a square. Okay, and the only thing that shows up in all 4 of our tests here is a square. So this quadrilateral with vertices A at 0, 2, B at 2, 4, C at 4, 2, and D at 2, 0 is a square.